Hola, amigos, and welcome to the last show on Televita. Tonight, I don't have to do any guest research. I've known this comic for most of my life. We started together in Stanford's back in the 80s. He is one of the funniest comedians I know. He's one of the nicest guys I know. His name is Mike Saccone. You want to see some of his act? Here he is at the Laugh Factory. We'll be back with Mike Saccone.
Things I have no control over are my fault. Our fish died the other day. Little goldfish. Does anybody have fish?
Yeah.
Yeah? What kind of fish?
Goldfish.
Goldfish? Yes, me too. You ever have one jump out of the tank?
Yep.
Yeah, they do that sometimes. He was depressed, maybe. I don't know. Came home, he's laying on the floor dead. My wife blames me because I'd spilled fish food on the floor. You see where this is going? According to the forensic evidence, I was luring him to his death for his inheritance. Flushed him down the toilet. That was wrong. She wanted some burial in the backyard. They're fish. You flush them, right?
Yes.
They're small. I wouldn't flush the larger pets. Plumber comes over. Well, the problem is you got a poodle stuck. If you'd have taken that little sweater off, he might have gone down.
Mr. Saccone, how are you?
Good to see you, buddy.
Did that really happen with the fish food on the floor? Is that a true
Yes,
comedy story?
it's probably adjusted or exaggerated somewhat, but there's some truth to that.
Well, you know, I've interviewed 1,000 comedians. We need to go back. We got started. Did you get started in 1982?
1980, here's what happened.
Let's hear it.
David
You're a
Nash.
musician. You're a musician. Or
No,
you were
no,
working with a band or something.
I was opening for a band. Some friends of mine had a band in town, Fields, they were called, and they were
Yes, I remember that.
They were like a country rock band, and they were getting pretty popular. And they were friends of mine, and I was trying to be a comedian, and I didn't know where to go or how to do it. And so one of my best buddies in the band, Mark Ballard, said, well, why don't you open for the band or go on in between sets, which is the worst possible time to go on to try to do comedy. Because when you're at a bar and the band goes on break, what happens?
Everybody goes up and goes to the bathroom.
And they go to the bathroom and they start talking.
Yeah.
Because they can finally talk to each other
Yeah.
because they couldn't hear each other talk over the band. So I go up and I try to do comedy with zero experience, and it was really very difficult.
Zero experience in the hardest venue to do it.
Yeah, it's just impossible. You're just running into a fan.
Mm-hmm.
So I run into David Nastor on a street corner. I've never seen him, and he's doing mine.
We need to clarify, not a street corner, was in Westport, right?
in Westport,
Right at the corner.
right at the corner of Westport and whatever that
Pennsylvania.
cross street is. Yeah. And he's doing mine. He's juggling. He's climbing on the building. He's got a kazoo. And he's just going
People are
berserk.
throwing money in the hat.
People throwing money in his hat. And I'm amazed by this. I'm just watching. He's funny. And the guts that it takes to stand on a street corner and gather strangers to watch you. I was just amazed by it.
Hold attention. Hold their attention.
Hold their attention, and he did it successfully. So I waited till he was done, and I hung around, and I talked to him about, hey, I'm trying to get into comedy. And he says, well, I'm doing a one-night open mic thing over at Stanford and Sons, which was right on the corner from where we were standing. So I said, okay, I'll stop by, So I think it was a Sunday night. They had a one night.
Sunday night, yes it was.
And I go in, and when I walk in, who's the first guy I see on stage?
Sinbad.
This
Me?
guy.
Oh my God.
Yes. I walk in the lobby, I'm kind of shy, and like,
I
what is this
remember.
about? And I kind of hiding in the lobby, watching you from the side. It's like, this is cool. This
Because
is
if this
really cool.
kid,
If
yeah.
this punk can do
yeah,
it,
this skinny punk,
Oh,
skinny punk.
you have no idea how skinny. He was like a $110. An athlete.
An
ladies and
athlete,
gentlemen.
mind you.
So
that's
tennis scholarships.
yes, they don't believe that. You might as well just say I was a Martian or a genie. So you went up that night?
I did not go up that night. I just hung around, and I looked and introduced myself to people, and I thought, these are the guys I want to be involved with. And then I came back, and the first night, I came back the following Sunday.
Oh, yeah.
And it was packed. And not only, it was only about 90 seats, but it was packed. And Stan Glazier, the owner, was sitting right in front. He chose this night. So not only am I don't know what the hell I'm doing, and this is the first night in what I feel like is a legit
And Stan
comedy
Glazier is
scene.
the patriarch of this comedy club industry, this club. So it's very important for you to do well for him.
Yeah, he's the owner, and
Yeah.
I have to impress him and everybody. And thank God it went well, because I'm afraid I might not have come back if I would have gotten my soul crushed that night. But that started the whole thing, and I just kind of lived there after that. I went, this is my thing. And I came there, and then the club became a full week-long comedy club.
Do you remember what we were paid for those Sunday night shows?
Like 15, well, oh no, for those Sunday night shows, we were paid a drink.
No, it was a drink and a hamburger, remember?
It eventually became
Oh,
a
that's right.
hamburger.
We had to work our way up
Yes,
to the burger.
not everybody got a hamburger.
That's right. And if you were part of a comedy team, like Rap and Lucas, you had to split the hamburger. So then we were paid like $1 a minute, remember? So you did a 15
Later, when it became successful, yeah.
Yeah.
We got paid $1.
But the thing
a minute.
is that was like the golden age because Louis Anderson, remember?
There were some huge acts that came
Tell
through
them about
there.
your Robin Williams experience there.
Oh, boy. We had
This is how many months in?
Well, that was maybe about a year
Okay,
in,
okay.
because we had started. At first, it was just us for
Yeah.
a very long time. Then, as things got
And us,
better,
we should clarify us for our friends of that would be Mike Saccone, David Nastor, Tom Burgoon, who was the magician we had on the thing.
right? Jeff Tamblyn,
Jeff Tamblyn, I forgot about him. Paul Ulrich and Walter Coppage.
right? And
Rap
Ari
and Lucas.
Marimaldi.
Ari Marimaldi. We had a nice little C. Wayne Owens. Oh my God! And I cannot forget about C. Wayne Owens. Yeah. So we had a nice little and Mary Feely.
Mary Feely.
Yeah. So we had a
That's
nice little comedy group there.
We did. It was a great group of people.
So it's about a year in, and then what happened?
Then they started hiring out-of-town acts. So they had a guy from Denver, Ed Nichols was the
Yeah.
headliner. I was the MC. So I did my bit, then I brought up the middle act, then I went back up and brought up the headliner. While the headliner's on about 5 minutes, I'm standing in the lobby, and in walks Robin Williams. And he's standing right next to me where
Yeah.
you are. And I do like a triple take going.
Quadruple
"Is this
take.
really Robin Williams?"
Yeah.
And I realized this is really Robin
Yeah.
Williams. He's got a hat on, glasses, and he kind of eases his way into the room. And I start freaking out, tell everybody,
You
"Oh my
should.
God, oh my God, Robin Williams is in Kansas City in our comedy club. Oh my God, oh my God." And I said, I go to the manager, and I said, "I'm going to tell the headliner to get off, and we're going to put Robin Williams on."
You got to.
Got to.
Yeah.
And he said, "Well, how do you know he'll go on?" I go, "Believe me, if I go ask him, that's why he's here. He wants to go
So
on."
how do you do this? So the other guy's on stage in the middle of his act, thinking he's killing.
He's doing construction workers from around the world.
Yeah.
His signature bit, and which was totally would not be allowed. He would be canceled.
Yeah.
It was racist. It was sexist. It was every ist. you
Yeah.
could possibly get. So I go. This is my favorite part of the story. I go over to Robin Williams. I'm a scared kid. I'm like 20 years old, and I lean down and, "Mr. Williams, would you like to go on stage?" He goes, "Yeah, sure, I'll go on." I said, "Okay, I'm going to bring you up." "Okay." I go, "By the way, I do a lot of improv, so if you need anybody to help you with some
Oh,
improv,
God.
just tell me." And he looks at me like, yeah, I'm gonna tell you, kid. Don't worry about it." So I go to the back of the room where
Now,
Ed
to
Nichols
keep that in
could-
perspective, it's like, Mr. Jordan, I shoot around. If you want to play
Yeah.
a game of horse,
Uh-huh.
I'll give you a good game,
Yeah.
Michael Jordan.
"Hey, Muhammad Ali, if you want to spar a little," I do a little boxing. So
I do a little improv. You said,
I said it, but I immediately knew I was a fool. Like, why did I blow my one chance to talk to Robin Williams? So I go to the back of the room where Ed Nichols can see me, the
Yeah.
guy who's on stage, and I'm doing this. Get off. And he's looking at me like he's being fired.
Yeah.
He's only been on about 10 minutes.
yeah.
So he confused, and he gets off, and I go back on, and the audience is confused too.
Yeah.
They're like, "Why is the show so short?" And I said, I know you think the show's over, folks, but it's not. We have a special guest that I'd like to bring up. Please welcome Robin Williams." And there's this silence, like
They didn't believe you.
surely he's kidding, and they were like, "Haha, yeah, right." Up walks Robin
I
Williams.
remember this.
And they went just berserk.
It was thunder shocking, wasn't
Just
it?
a 90-seat room of people seeing, Elvis.
This is it, and this is right after Mork and Mindy. This is in his peak Robin Williams of fame.
hot fame.
Yeah.
And he went on and just killed for like 45 minutes, and we just all sat and watched and were amazed. And somebody took pictures of that. They took pictures of us with him after, and I never know what happened to him. They lost him.
So it's amazing. I do remember that. Yeah, they just.
But he was real nice and cool.
He was very nice and cool then. I remember walking out. I heard that Nasser said that he had a relationship with some waitress over at Buzzard Beach or something.
Yes, I'd heard a couple stories about him partying with some people that I knew, and a little more sexy things that went on with some people I knew.
Well, that is the first part of the career, and what better way to cap off the first part of our story than you did a little movie that you let me be in early in your career. Tell me about this.
Oh God, I hope you have the clip.
We have the clip.
I mentioned Mark Ballard again, the guy that was in the band, and Mark Armato. There was a movie contest from KY102. Film your own video, submit it, and the winner got something. I forget what the winner
You
got.
won though, didn't you?
We got second place.
Okay.
But the finals were out at Pogo's or somewhere.
That was my stomping ground.
And were you a big disco guy back then?
No. I used to stomp. No girl dance me. I just stomp around.
So we did a story about, what was the story? The movie was about...
Whales.
No, it was...
Seals.
No, it was about...
drunk.
Like when they track species that are being extinct.
Yeah.
And our species that was going extinct was the great American wino.
I do remember that.
And so in the story, we needed a guide, an African guide. And that was
me.
He was about 100 pounds in a loincloth.
That's right.
Your hair, your afro was out to here.
Two things.
You had a spear.
I had a spear, and I trapped him. Didn't I?
You trapped him.
I almost hung him. I almost hung him Django style, didn't I?
You had a noose around his neck,
Right.
like you caught the wino
right.
for us.
So we're going to play this. We're going to be back and talk about the second half of our lives where I gained more weight. We'll be back on the
we
last
apologize
show.
for the
We
clip.
apologize.
Gambling already? You winning money? Oh. Yeah, we're winning. Yeah. That's why we came in here, because we were tired of winning. Yeah. You can only win so much before you need a break, huh? We've been here all week, and this is my pattern of gambling. Lose, go to the buffet, try to get even. That helps a little bit, doesn't it? Good power session at the buffet. Walking in there with a chip on your shoulder, show these fuckers how to eat. All right, honey, let's go. We got to eat $400 worth of this shit somehow. I don't know, put some chicken in your purse. We're down. I've gotten pounded this week. I sprinkled my money all over town. You don't have to be in a casino to lose money, you may have noticed. You get off the plane at the airport, there's a slot machine. Go to a gas station, they got them. Laundromats have poker machines, right? You're nodding, you know? Laundromats. I went in with dirty laundry, I left with wet laundry. That was the walk of shame. Dragging a bag of wet clothes across the parking lot, dejected, busted, leaving a mark like a snail. People pointing, what happened to your clothes? I didn't catch the jack, fuck off.
I cannot believe I was that skinny.
You were so
And your hair was that dark. I mean, you've kept the same, but you've definitely gone A little bit of a Kenny Rogers since then on the hair color. It's distinguishing, though.
You should take that clip home and show it to your wife.
I don't think I don't want to disappoint her and let her know.
They gotta get things moving.
What happened
On a romantic night.
So what happens is that we get started in Kansas City. Kansas City's our stomping ground. I moved to L.A. You moved to Philadelphia.
Right.
And you kind of did comedy out there. So you became an East Coast comic, not a West Coast comic.
Right. I was in Philly for about 2.5 years. Got going there pretty good. And then I moved on up to New York, and I was in New York for about 8 years. And that's really where things got going for me up there.
Well, where things got going for us back then in the day, the biggest thing we could do in comedy was a show called Ed McMahon's Star Search. That was it. That Nasher done it, lost. Brian Burgess, another Kansas City comic, done it, lost.
Sinbad did it.
Sinbad
came in second.
Yeah, Sinbad came in second. Yeah, but this man, Mike Saccone, won Star Search, 1988. If I'm
89.
I'm now okay.
It's not as old as you thought.
Yeah, that's right.
It's only 40 years ago.
So tell me about the Star Search thing. How did you win? And then I'll tell you what you did after you won that was really cool. So tell me about how you won Star Search.
So I had auditioned for it 3 times in New York, and then finally got the show out of Dangerfields. Me and 2 other guys out of Dangerfields got the show. Then they flew us out to L.A. I did a couple episodes, and then we ended up in this 3-way tie. The same 3 guys that came out of Dangerfields. We were in the semifinals together in this 3-way tie. I won that, so I'm in the finals.
Star Search.
On Star Search with Ed McMahon. Yes. So I'm waiting for the. Go ahead.
Who are the other comics? You don't.
Oh, Phil Nee, Ron Gallup. I beat them in the semifinals. I forget who I beat in the first one. I forget the guy's name.
Oh, but how sad for that guy.
I don't even remember that guy. He's out of here.
All right.
But here's the interesting part. So, do you remember Spanky?
Of course I do.
Spanky McFarlane. So he was in the semifinals. And if he won, he was going to be in the finals with me. We're both in the Super Bowl, right?
And the winner gets $100,000.
$100,000. The loser gets 0. So we agreed that the loser getting 0 kind of sucked. So we made a deal on a handshake that whoever loses, the winner will give the other guy $7,000. It was a hedge bet. So you knew even if you lost, you were going to get $7,000.
And $7,000 back then was like
a lot of money. And I got the check right before Christmas, and so I sent the guy $7,000 like on Christmas, which was kind of cool, you know. So and all the comedians, of course, were like, "I heard about that deal you cut, and did you really pay him?" I go, "Yeah, I really paid him." "Well, did you have a contract?" I go, "No, we just shook on it." "Well, you didn't have to pay him. That's not a binding contract." I went, "Yes, it is." It's called, you know, owning up to your word.
It's funny how that thing it passed along because I heard about that. I mean, it was nice. It's Kansas City nice, and then Ellen DeGeneres came into the comedy contest in Kansas City that I won, and I won
That's
like
right.
$10,000, and I gave everybody else like it's a long time now. My wife doesn't know, but I gave everybody else like $850 each or something. Bud Dingman
that's nice.
But yeah, but it's because of you. So now you won Star Search, right?
Yeah.
Now the way show business works, if it was a fairy tale, everything would open up. The oyster would open up. Come on in. Come on in to the Tonight Show.
That's
Come
what
on.
you think.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's what I thought when I was doing crappy road gigs and I saw your face in the stars, you know. I was in a hotel room in Kentucky, Owensboro, Kentucky, when I saw you win, and I was just so depressed because I just sucked on stage and got paid like $75, and there's Saccone up there.
Thought I was floating off into the stratosphere. Right? It wasn't quite like that. It did open some doors, and it helped in some ways, but I think I was the 6th year or 7th year winner, and by that time, it was kind of losing its luster. There was no automatic on the Tonight Show or automatic deals being cut. I did make more money on the road. I went on a college tour for about 1.5 years, which made some money doing that. But, you know, it gave me a little bit of notoriety for a couple
It was a
minutes.
lot of notoriety. I remember when you came into Stanford's after you did it, and I thought you'd be so cocky because that was like our thing, and you were just as humble as could be there.
It was kind of a big deal at home. I remember when I went back to Stanford's, it was like a big sold out shows. And
But just to let our audience know how important that was to you, they gave you a trophy or a ribbon or something, didn't they?
a little.
Do you have it?
I do. I lost it. I lost it for years in a house, and somebody found it in an attic and gave it back to me.
Kind of like Pete Sampras losing his, putting all his trophies in a storage thing. You
Yeah.
lost it.
I
So
lost
the most
the
important thing you could ever have, and you
I know.
lost it.
I have it. But I should have brought it for the show. I would have.
Oh my, that's right. I have seen it down in your house.
Yeah.
So now what happens now? You know, when comics get north of 50, I mean, do you do the road as much? I know you're a fixture at the Laugh Factory in Las Vegas.
I'm pretty much retired. I still do Vegas a couple times a year at the Laugh Factory at the Tropicana.
Mm-hmm.
But I'm kind of like, you know, coasting down into, I'm tired. Just want to play pickleball and, you know.
Yeah, I get that. What was your last? Well, hold on. I should also mention you were a big time opening up for musical acts too. That was like your thing for a while, wasn't it?
I wouldn't call it my thing, but I did it a handful of times. I lived in Vegas for 6 years, so I did open for a lot of people there. My favorite, I opened for Norm Macdonald there.
You did?
The nicest guy in the world. Because I opened for, you know, a handful of people, Tom Jones, Paul Anka,
You know, the weird
a
thing,
bunch
the
of
weird thing about
older
that,
acts.
you know, we're older act because most of our
Dennis
listeners
Miller.
don't know who Tom Jones and Paul Anka
I know,
are.
right?
The thing is, and then you stopped all the musical stuff. He used to do the funniest bit of his was a bit called the Richard Pryor's Safety Coke Spoon, which is again a reference that means nothing to anybody
Yes.
at this time.
Well, that's when I first started. I had a whole box of props. This was my killer closer bit. It was right after Richard Pryor had set himself on fire, and it was a big news thing. And so at the end of my act, I had a fire extinguisher, a big one that I stole from a apartment complex. This big silver thing, and I'd cut off the end of the hose and I put a big spoon in it. And I said, ladies and gentlemen, tonight we're having a raffle, and the winner of the raffle will leave with this, the Richard Pryor Safety Coke Spoon.
And the great thing about this for prop, he had the perfect prop to lead off with because the first prop he did, he says, well, I just got back from the drive and he pulled out the speaker. I know for our folks, they used to be metal speakers that almost broke the glass. And
They were all stolen things. That was the running theme, that I had stolen all these things.
But you had stolen
actually
them.
really stolen them. You remember when you're doing it?
I remember you saw that fire extinguisher in a place caught on fire the week later, so that was inconvenient for them.
Hey, showbiz. Things
Yeah,
happen.
exactly. Exactly. So now you're back here in Kansas City.
I've pretty much retired back here to Kansas City, and I live up north, and I restore pinball machines, which is my
That's your
hobby,
obsession.
My obsession, and
Yeah.
I play pickleball like 4 times a
Apparently
week. with a
there's
bunch
like
of guys.
ball there, yeah.
We
It's fun-
got to get you out and play
Exactly.
pickleball.
It's funny because we both kind of went out and traveled every place. Now we live a few miles from each other.
Yeah, he's up
And
in
we're
my
having a
neck
good
of the
time.
woods.
That's right. Well, thank you for being on the last show, Mike Saccone.
Thanks for having me,
We
buddy.
appreciate it. Adios. We'll see you on the last show.
My game, craps. Anybody else playing the dice? Yeah, how's it going? Any good? No. I'm always, the tables are next to each other, the crap tables, and I'm always at the bad one, but I'm next to the killer one, right? Where they're going nuts, they're winning, they're roasting a fucking pig over there, man. My table, all you hear is shit. Shit. And I start to lose my mind when I've lost enough. I have this idea that I have like mind power over the dice. The guy's rolling the dice towards me. I need a 10. The point is 10. So every roll, I start doing this. Come on. Come on. A grown man standing there like an asshole doing this. Trying to get others to join in. Come on, guys. Do this with me. Well, he rolls the 10. Now I'm convinced that my voodoo shit, yeah, it's working, baby. I'm all excited. Ha ha! What's the new number? Tell me. I'll do it again. 11? 11. Did you get it on the sides? I don't want to cheat you out of a joke way back there. Not such a great seat anymore with 11 right in the face there. I apologize, man. Don't be scared. It's not really 11. It's not even close. It's